So I've decided to do a little bit of renovation here where I sprayed out some POA. I was going to wait until fall, but they're just giant brown patches. So, and we're having a cool spell in June. It's mid-June, so it's super late to start seeding, but maybe something will work. So I use my little tiller and sort of ground out. So here's what they were looking like. Pretty obvious bright spots in the lawn. And yeah, so I tilled out some of this, and also around this time of year, the ground starts getting a little compacted. So I figured it'd be good to just kind of get some articulation. But what ended up happening is that the clumps of grass are still intact, even though they're dead. Hopefully they're dead. And so it actually just kind of removed a lot of soil. So then I've been using topsoil to replace that and try to get it to be level. So here's, well, it's not that level, but at least get it so it's not like a giant divot like here. So I got about a third of it done, I think. Maybe half if you don't count the ones that are not dug out. I'm not going to dig out all of them because I don't know that I need to. The seed just needs to be on soil, so I'm going to just kind of sprinkle some soil on those ones and see if it works just as well as the more hardcore stuff that I'm doing here. Because I do have topsoil. I have a pile here, but it's only sifted or filtered to 1 inch, and I'm filtering it down to, I can't remember if it's a 1/2 inch or 1/4 inch, because I was finding pebbles and even some pieces of glass in it. So I was just like, I'm not putting that on the lawn. So that just adds a lot of work to it. But yeah, as long as it supports the seeds, it's worth it. So we'll see how this looks. Quick update on the POA restriction measures. So just again, I've got a lot of POA kind of coming on these high traffic areas, and I'm trying to prevent it from getting too much into here. I don't know if this is going to work or not, but anyway, so I sprayed this out. It was all dead, like those patches down there. Then I tilled up the stuff, and I tilled some of the areas, put some more screened topsoil, actually twice screened topsoil. And I seeded ryegrass. I have ryegrass and I have turf type tall fescue, and I decided to use the ryegrass. Hopefully it comes up fast. This stuff is known to come up fast, but we'll see. It's reasonably level. I compacted it by running over it with my lawn tractor just to make sure that once it gets wet, it's not going to wash away or get super lumpy bumpy. So it's reasonably level. And then I put some hay. What do you call that? Easy hay or something like that. Just a little bit to protect it from the sun a bit, and also keep it from eroding and stuff, hold in a little bit of moisture. So we'll see what happens. There's a seed there. I didn't go overboard with the seeding. I just kind of did a moderate amount. I'll probably have to add more. The other thing is, I'm not trying to, I don't know what to expect in terms of survivability. It's mid-June right now, June 12th, so, who knows if this is going to survive the summer. It's cool right now. We're getting a tiny bit of rain this week, so I figured this is a week to try it if I was going to do it at all. And I was kind of ignoring these, just going to wait for it until the fall, but my wife was like, really? You sprayed all this out? So I was like, oh, I could try to seed it. So anyway, but I needed to spray the POA in the spring because that's when it's growing, and if it goes dormant, even glyphosate isn't going to kill it off, and then it'll look like it's killed. I do all this reseeding and it comes back the next spring, so that's what I'm trying to avoid. So yeah, we'll check in later and see how it looks. Well, it's about a week since I threw out the seed, and you can see here we've got some hatchlings, so the seeds have hatched. I'm kind of surprised because, I don't know, I'm just surprised that something I did worked. But I noticed these actually a couple days ago. They probably came up Sunday. Today is Tuesday, so they probably came up Sunday. And that was a pretty good time. We were gone for about 4 days, and I had this timer and sprinkler set up, and then when I got back, came to realize that the timer was completely reset, so it didn't go on at all while I was gone. The main sprinklers did go on once for a pretty good stint. This area actually gets water from I guess just 2 zones. Yeah, 2 and 3. For mainly from 2 zones, but it does get a little bit of double coverage, so that's good. But it's pretty even hatchlings here, I would say. So that's good. I definitely did not overseed this, not in the overseeding sense of like throw it down, but I really tried not to put too much down. This is ryegrass, which is a bunch type grass, so these will become bunch grasses. Mostly this is, I don't know if any of this is going to survive over the summer, so mostly this is just to get some cover during the summer, and then I don't know what I'll do in the fall. If a lot of this stuff survives and it looks fine in the fall, I might just do an overseed, a true overseed, and then just go from there. A lot of my grass or lawn back here is bluegrass, probably like decades old varieties. So I'm not. This got scorched a little bit today. Look at that. Yeah, not the best. This sprinkler is going on every 6 hours, but we did have 90-degree heat today, so we will see how this stuff does. But yeah, I'm pretty thrilled that it actually came up, and it looks like most of the seed that I put down came up, so pretty excited about that. So we'll keep you updated. So again, just an overview. This is anti-POA measures. You can see over here we've got some more greener type grass right here. That is the POA in the yard. There's quite a bit of it in this high traffic area, and it was kind of marching down this way, and so I've tried to create a dead zone, trying to stop it. It's also kind of coming around that way. And then there were a few spots like here and there where it had gone over. Today is June 27th. It's been, I don't know, a week and a half or something since this sprouted. I forget. But just did the first mow today. So it's, and I mowed it. This is probably about 3 inches, 2.5, 3 inches. I didn't want it getting too much higher than that, so it doesn't get too spindly. So I was trying to be as gentle as possible. I do have a push reel mower, which would be better, but I have that at like a 1/4 inch setting, or 1/2 inch setting. Actually, that's the lowest it will go, and it's a huge pain to readjust that. So I just used my push mower very gingerly, and you can see it does make tire tracks here, but hello frog. It does make wheel tracks, but you know, I mean, grass can survive in the cracks of concrete, so it should be able to survive here. It is a little thin in some areas, for example over there, but it's pretty good over there. But this is really just a first coating. I didn't really expect this stuff to survive, so we'll see what happens, and we'll probably reseed again in the fall, or I might expand this into a larger project. But anyway, that's the progress so far. So we just had some good rain yesterday. We got at least a 1/2 inch, so that was really good, badly needed. And it's a little cooler now, and so I have set this thing to, instead of every 6 hours, it's now going every 12 hours. So I don't think this is going to dry out, at least until now. If it gets hot and dry again, I'll bump that up again, but so far I think it's doing okay. Today is July 1st. Seeding was on June 13th, so that was 17 days ago. think. If my maths is, no wait, 27, no. 7 to 20, yeah, 17 days ago. So for the amount that actually I put out of seed, it's looking pretty good. Kind of on the downside, you can't see these dead areas. I mean, from a down perspective, you can't see the dead areas that well. And the grass is long enough now to be mowed. I don't know, I think I'm mowing at about 3 inches right now. So I don't want it to get too wiry and spiry, so I'm mowing. Oh, and there's definitely some areas where it clumped up a little bit. And there's areas that are a little bit sparser. But overall, it's coming in. It's not dead yet. Here's an area that's really sparse. So I guess I definitely should have, I don't know, seeded more maybe. I mean, this is pure ryegrass, and ryegrass is a clumping grass. So each of these seedlings or sprouts will be a clump of grass, and so you actually don't want it to do this kind of tufting business because it's going to be too crowded in there. You want it to be scattered around, maybe more like this area. But seed just clumps. That's just how it does when it gets wet. And then so this actually came in pretty even, all things considered. But yeah, if I don't end up redoing like all of this, I will still need to do a reseed or whatever, but it's coming in pretty good. We've had one good thunderstorm, and then we just had a little bit of rain today. So I haven't needed to water for maybe, has it been a week? Maybe a week, I'm not sure. This sprinkler is still watering the baby grass, but the rest of the stuff is I'm holding off on a little bit, and it's still damp, so it's definitely not drying out right now. But anyway, I think I'll kind of end the frequent updates here and maybe check in at the end of July or later, maybe when I mean, if it dies, I guess I should show that, or if it starts looking nice and full, I should show that. But ultimately, I think I'm going to need to do a early fall reseeding of this area. If I don't do an entire redo, I mean, you can still see all this light green. That's the POA that I'm trying to get rid of, and just all this needs to be redone. You can see the darker areas. I do have dark grass, and this is probably, I don't know if this is good grass that I've always had, or I've reseeded this area so many times, and so maybe that's the grass. Maybe that's the new cultivars that have taken hold. And so just imagine if all my grass looked like this nice dark blue stuff. The only way to do that really is to get rid of all the really old cultivars that they always come back, but they don't look good, and they need, they need more fertilizers and maybe more water and stuff like that. So if I can get some good hardy grass, I mean, if everything looked like this deep green grass right here, whatever I've got here, and this, I think that's bluegrass. I mean, it doesn't need anything like the way it looks like that. I did a light treatment in the spring, and then I did a heavier treatment in the late spring of fertilizer. I thought, because I did pretty heavy fertilizer in the fall, I thought it was going to be really juiced up for the spring and it would just come back, but it hasn't. The only spots that have come back really dark are like dog pea or deer pea spots. But if everything was like this amazingly dark grass, like I could do almost nothing with it. And that would be great. So, and then I'd have to use less product. It would look great. So eventually I think I'm going to have to be doing some larger renovations here. But for now, I think I've stopped the advance of POA that direction for now. Oh, there was one other thing I wanted to point out in these areas that I've killed. It's always interesting to notice what actually does well. And it seems like, I mean, maybe I killed this in an area of healthy grass, but it always seems like the grass at the edges of a dead spot grow actually even better. And I think that is because this is mostly bluegrass. And this area, this grass has not been dethatched, well, since we've been here. And I don't know if the previous owner ever did. So it's pretty thick. And I'm kind of wondering if like it actually does better at the edges, because that's where the bluegrass actually has space. And then as you get back into the turf, it's kind of crowded out. And so you actually get this better growing and richer grass at the edges of dead spots. You do see this in nitrogen burn areas, but that's because you have a gradient where the nitrogen is too concentrated in the middle, so it burns everything dead. But then on the outside of that, where it's not high enough to burn it, the grass just like flourishes. And so I don't think these are those spots, but you can see there's always like a little dark rim around these areas. So I do want to basically dethatch all of this area. I did that last fall to this area that you can see is still kind of light. I don't know why, because these areas came in like amazingly. There was like over here I did it, kind of a renovation, and then over here I did a renovation. And then in late fall it turned really light, and I don't know why. Maybe it came in too thick, maybe I seeded it too much. So I will probably, yeah, this is actually really, really thick. So I will probably dethatch these areas again. Although I didn't seed with bluegrass, I seeded with, I think, ryegrass. Or a tall fescue bluegrass mix. I forget what I have, actually. Anyway, so those are future projects, and we'll sign off this project for now.